All
Yeah,
right.
all good, all good. Yeah, hi, I'm Caroline. I'm Danish, actually, but I live in the UK. And I've been patching for more than a year and a half now. I'll give you a brief background to how I came into patching. One of my friends recommended me to try, and I am open-minded person, always happy to look into anything alternative, but especially when it was with light and light activation. I thought that sounded amazing. My main concern was that nothing was going into my body. And when I realized that was the case, I was really keen to get going. I had, at the age of 67, had an ongoing problem with my knee. I think I was starting to get arthritis. I hadn't been able to bend it for years. And so that was my main objective to starting. I also was waking up with pain in the night, in my fingers and in general, my joints, my neck and stuff. But when you live with pain, you also get used to pain. And I hadn't really noticed how much pain I was in, I think, until it suddenly disappeared. And a couple of weeks into patching, I was thinking, I'm sleeping incredibly well. And at first I thought, well, that could have been a fluke. And then later I thought, well, it's still happening every day now. And I'm dreaming, I'm remembering my dreams, I'm waking up with a kind of bounce in my step. And then I also realized that one of the reasons I was sleeping so well was that I didn't have that painful kind of waking up in the night and stiff neck from lying awkwardly on the pillow, or my fingers weren't throbbing or anything like that. So that got me really excited. And then a couple of months in, probably around the 3 months time, I was back to bending my knee. I was back to squatting. And I had literally tried everything. I mean, I'd done a 6 months teacher training Qigong course just to try and get myself better. And the Qigong helped my frozen shoulder and all sorts of other things, but my knee was still playing up. And now I'm back to being able to squat, sit on my knees with my heels on underneath, or sit on my heels rather, do yoga with a straight back, not using a little block, and endless other things happen. And then I started patching my patients, and yeah, I can get to that later, but let's start the presentation. And what we always say to everyone who's new here is, have you been patched yet? Because if you haven't, you need to get ready to try and feel how that feels in your body when your body starts elevating, activating, and regenerating. We can't talk at all about X39 or any of the Lifewave products without mentioning David Schmidt, who's the CEO and inventor. He's the most amazing person. And if you get a chance, go and listen to some of his chats on the patches. He's so interesting. He's really coming from the right background in terms of when I listen to him, I just feel completely connected to his vision. He is Yeah, he's just such an amazing scientist. And back in 2008, he started focusing a bit more on stem cell activation. He wanted to see if there was a way you could activate your dormant stem cells without actually injecting into the body. And we all know that that can be both very costly and also at times not very successful and even dangerous. So he started his research in 2008, and it took him 10 years and 4.5 million to bring that to the market. And that's why we're here today talking about it. To get a patent to get any patent actually, and this is what he got on X39, you have to show that you can prove that it does what it says on the tin. I mean, you really need to provide lots of clinical evidence. And what does it actually say in the patent? Well, it says it's an embodiment as a result of elevating copper peptides, including activation of stem cells, improvement in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvement in stamina, elevation of collagen production, and improved wound healing. So many things that have come up in these clinical studies are really exciting. So why do we actually need stem cell activation? Well, I didn't know this really. I mean, I know that, of course, that the older you are, the slower you are to heal. And but I didn't really realize it was because we have fewer stem cells that are active. And of course, hundreds of millions of people are experiencing symptoms of aging all over the world. But and that's partly why, because at 30, we've only got half our active stem cells left. We're born with the most amount, but by 30, we've only got half of them left. And by 60, they're almost all gone. They're not that active any longer. And that's why we take so much longer to heal up. So, how does X39 actually work? Well, it's a proprietary form of phototherapy. So, that's just another way of saying light therapy. We all recognize that if we go into the sun and the sun hits our skin, we produce, in the body produces vitamin D. It's not from actually the sun hitting the skin, but it's from that action of the sun activating something in your body to activate then the vitamin D. So it's an old, and we also know that when you have babies born with jaundice, you put them under light. So light therapy has really been used and known about for forever. But this is a really interesting way of doing it. So it's a patented nanocrystal technology, and nano just means they're very, very small. Um, and they reflect light to be activated. So the way it happens is that your body emits low-lying infrared light constantly. So that's why if you put night goggles on, you can see a person in the reflections, or you can see the light around him. So that low-lying light, low reflecting light, activates the crystal technology in the patch, and it sends a signal back into the body to activate something called copper peptides. Now, copper peptides are really, really important for so many things, and it's also something we don't have so much of with age. But the exciting bit about copper peptides, apart from it being really, really helpful for our immune system, is that it can communicate to our stem cells. So those copper peptides can actually activate our dormant stem cells. And that is the really exciting bit about this. It's non-transdermal, really, really important. There's no drugs, chemicals, or stimulants. So it's completely non-invasive. And if we look at some of the benefits of X39, I think both Arleen and I, who've been long time patching, have felt all of this. You can see that from the clinical studies, this is what happens. You've got increased strength, mental clarity, reduced inflammation, restored muscle and skeletal conditions, increased stamina, improvement of sleep, energy and vitality, and improved skin appearance. And it's actually helping you to have an optimal health of state, a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. But I think it's also important here to say that none of Lifewave products are intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition. This is a way of your body actually learning how to heal itself, and that's the really exciting bit of it. So another really interesting experiment that David Schmidt did on a 77-year-old yoga teacher, actually. This is a topography map, which shows the level of inflammation which is in the brain. And in session two, you can see there's quite a lot of red, and all of that red is inflammation. And it means that there's a lack of brain coherence. By session one, there was no patches on the lady, but by session two, she's had patches on for 3 weeks, the X39 patch, and there's pretty much no more inflammation, and it's improved brain coherence. And already 6 weeks on X39, there's a complete turnaround and better brain coherence. And so when she came in, her brain was hyperactive, but it calmed down dramatically, as you can see at the second visit. And after wearing it for 6 weeks, it remained calm. So this is a really exciting picture. So what are the long-term results for X39? And these results can be found on the website, which you might want to take a screenshot of, called thisitinfo.com. The first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset. Within 6 weeks, that we just saw on the previous slide, your brain becomes balanced. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased, and that's collagen, which is both skin, hair, nails, but also collagen inside your body. So, we have collagen everywhere in us. And so that's a really important one as well. And within 6 months, the heart reverses in age. And it was interesting. We were on a call yesterday with Merle, actually, Arleen, and she's been wearing one of those aura rings that shows you your kind of what's going on in your body. And she's just had her heart results come back, and her heart's 7 years younger than her actual age. So that's really exciting.
Mm.
Anyway, this is not anti-aging, as David Smith likes to say. He likes to say it's actually age reversing. So how do you wear X39? Well, it's really important that you follow the guidelines to get the best results. And so basically you wear it 12 hours on and 12 hours off. And that gives the body time to repair and rejuvenate. And then you throw the patch away, or if you have a pet or a child or a spouse that want to use a little bit, they can use the last little couple of hours of the patch. There is actually about 16 hours worth of patch that is active, but you get the absolute best results by using a new patch every day. But you might not want to just throw it out, but stick it on your pot plant or anywhere where light is going to help. And so let's say you start in the morning, you put it on at 9 o'clock in the morning, and you take it off at night at 9 o'clock at night. And for X39, it's really important that you wear it in the day, because we have to remember to drink plenty of water. It's really important to hydrate yourself. And if you can, get used to drinking slowly over the day instead of taking lots of gulps or long, big glasses in one go. That can put quite a lot of strain on your kidneys, but instead just 3 big gulps every half hour with a bit of electrolytes in is what we recommend. But you can also wear more than one patch at a time. We have got other patches in the system. You wouldn't be recommended to wear two X39s at the same time. It's just not worth the kind of additional cost. But what you could do was add one of our other complementary patches into the mix. And we got some really interesting one. And one of the ones that we always quite often recommend from the beginning is Aeon, which is an inflammation patch that really helps anywhere where there's pain or inflammation in the body. I think most of us have got inflammation, sadly, these days. And it also helps calm down the brain quite a lot. So it's a great additional patch to use. Or we've got some of the pain patches called Icewave, which is great for acute pain. So there are other patches that we can add into the mix, and it can be worn alongside X39. But X39 as our flagship patch is the one we always recommend everyone to begin with. So X39 is very sophisticated, but it's really simple to explain, and the testimonies are amazing. I mean, I was on a call last night where I just, you never ever get over hearing people speak about their results. It's just fascinating and wonderful to hear. So yeah, um, welcome to anyone new. You're going to be on such a journey.
Thank you so much, Caroline. You always do such a great job, even if in a moment's notice.
That's
Oh,
okay.
thank you. So I'm Arleen, and I've been patching for about a year and a half now. Um, in 2023, I was dealing with breast cancer, and in the process of finally making the decision to excise the lump, we discovered it was a lobular type invasive cancer, which I'd managed to actually keep in situ for 6 years without any invasion. But it started to grow, and so I was doing a deeper investigation on it. And in the process, they thought, oh, well, if it's this kind of cancer and you've had it for 6 years, we want to make sure it's not anywhere else before we do any other treatment. So we did a deep body scan, and in the process discovered I had a shadow on my heart, which turned out to be a tumor in my heart. So I had a really interesting experience of going from open heart surgery exactly 2 days later into double mastectomy 6 weeks later because we just couldn't risk what was going on with the cancers. So in that whole process, um, there were a couple of things that we discovered as well. I had osteoporosis. Now I work largely with natural medicines and I'm involved in natural health myself, especially with life alignment. So all of that was in place and all of that was helping tremendously. But there were two things that were bothering me. Number one is my work is paid minute by minute, hour by hour. So 5 months of no work was a big blow to my income as a single income family. And secondly, the osteoporosis. I'd been able to keep it sustained and not getting any worse, but I needed to shift it. So I was actively looking for help with osteoporosis as well as a secondary source of income. And then my friend Merle on a group chat call about something else just briefly mentioned the word Lifewave, and I got this big surge of that. I don't know what it is, but I got to do that. So I follow my gut instincts. Okay. Um, I just sent her a message and said, I don't know what it is, but I got to do it. So let's just do this thing. And I decided I will baptize this a success because if I'm getting a message like that, then it has to be a success. So from that point of view, um, my patches back at that stage, Australia didn't have its own office, so it took 3 weeks before the patches came. And then once they came, I started patching. And I, at that stage, had fibromyalgia. I'd had that for a long time. I had foot bursitis, shoulder bursitis, and I was still struggling with my heart scar. The heart scar was very painful. It was raised, and it didn't matter what I was doing. I could not get rid of that pain. I also had rib pain from, when you have open heart surgery, they crack your chest open. And so I had costochondritis, the rib pain for 2 years already by that stage. I started patching, and one of the first things that I noticed within a few weeks was my energy levels had shifted and changed. I had way more energy than I had in a long time. A couple of weeks later, I noticed the foot bursitis had disappeared. Walking anything longer than 1 or 2 kilometers was really painful. I suddenly could do 5 kilometer hikes, not a problem. The shoulder pain disappeared. My blood pressure stabilized, and then my sleep changed. And sleep is incredibly important because when you sleep, that's where a lot of your healing happens, right?
Sure.
I also had a lot of acid reflux because from the surgery when they stitched it all back up, my stomach was shifted in position, so I was having problems with that. They did an endoscope expecting to see severe acid burns, and actually they saw nothing. So the internal skin was healing itself. I'm a year and a half in, and I have very, very little acid reflux now, so it's sorting itself out as well. I went to see my naturopath, and we can't find any signs of inflammation in my body. Previously, when we did my blood work, we could see all the spider webs of inflammation. And when we did the dry blood, you could see the markers for fibromyalgia, all the symptoms of fibromyalgia is gone. And I have very happy blood cells. It's really an amazing journey. Yes, it's a combination of diet, of lifestyle, and everything else, but the patches have really added that extra dimension. And as to my heart scar, well, that's it.
I know.
Okay. Phenomenal healing. It's actually gone completely flat, no pain. The rib pain's disappeared as well. And then another little sideline, I went to the dentist, doing some deep dental treatment, and my previous gum disease has also disappeared. They were busy doing deep cleaning and prodding and poking, no blood. The gums that were previously inflamed and not tight around the tooth had totally changed. I've got tight gums and I have zero gum disease. In fact, my gums are the receding gum lines actually coming back to where it should be. So my dentists were extremely confused because they were looking at the records, looking at my gums, prodding, poking, looking at my gums, looking at the record, going, this is impossible. This doesn't happen. And I'm going, well, obviously it does. Then we did a jaw x-ray. Now, my previous jaw x-ray showed weakness in the jaw bone because of osteoporosis. So my choices as to replacing a missing tooth were limited. And I said, well, what are my options? And he said, well, whatever you want. I said, well, what about the jaw and the strength of the jaw? And he said, there's nothing wrong with your jaw. It's perfectly natural. So I know that the osteoporosis is actually in reverse, which is amazing. I'm also now being able to go to Pilates and do reformer Pilates. In fact, today I side planked for 25 seconds on one arm on a reformer, which I'm extremely impressed about because, yeah, that's all new from lifting teacups a year and a half ago to full on Pilates planking now. So, from a point of view of my health, it's been phenomenal. From a point of view of running it as a business, has also been absolutely mind-blowing. I don't work it as hard as my colleagues do because I still love my life alignment work and I do that full time. But I found it slots in incredibly well for my clients. And as a support for them during treatments and everything else, they're having far, far greater results and much quicker. So it's really great. But from my own personal income, I'm now able to pay my rent and I bought another car and I'm paying all my car payments. I've been on holidays. I'm paying off all my debt. I think I'm down to, I'm two-thirds through what I started with the debt amount I had a year and a half ago. I'm two-thirds through paying it all off, which is remarkable for me. I have been able to go on holiday and go on retreats with things I could not imagine doing before. It's changed my whole financial attitude and how I run things, how I look at money and everything else, because I can take a day off without worrying about no income. So from that point of view, it's been very, very, very good for me as well. So tick, tick, I'm doing phenomenally well there. So from that point of view, we're going to go into the business side. I'm going to give you a little introduction to the other side of the business because it is that option available to people. And I think it's actually very important that we don't get upset or run around about these things. So this is itinfo.com is my favorite website for the patches. This is we belong to the This Is It team. It's the biggest and fastest growing team within Lifewave. And that's because we have Steve and Gina Merritt at the head, and they have created all sorts of tools for us, including the slideshow presentations and whatnot else. So on this website, you're going to find everything about the patches, videos from doctors, videos from other people, as well as testimonies and also the patents and the scientific research. You'll find everything there. Okay. So the important thing about getting involved with a company like this is to know that it's not a fly-by-night company. This is a 21-year-old company now. It's open in actually now over 80 countries. The important thing about the age of the company is it's gone through the rough and tumble. It's had its, struggles, and it's actually come through big issues and learned from that in the process. So this company's here for a long time. It's not a Me Too company, as in all our products are patented and can only be bought from this company. You cannot find our products anywhere else. So they're one-offs. They are only sold by this company. If you ever see something that says Lifewave on Amazon or on any other websites or some other strange sites selling them at crazy, ridiculous prices, those are actually not the real product. Okay. Now, X39 is the flagship product, but there were other products that came in before. So by the time in 2021, it was a $20 million profit company. And then X39 really came into play. And by 2022, you can see it went to a $320 million company. 2023, 430, and 2024, over 600 million. And we are on our way to $1 billion in sales. What I love about that is 60% of that comes back to the brand partners. Okay. It is ranked as the #1 momentum company per businessforhome.org. You can go into that website and actually have a look. It's a website that researches all home-based companies and these kind of MLM companies. And you can actually verify the facts of how well we are doing there. And it's won various awards like the Bravo Award and the Growth #1 Growth Company Award as well. And that's on the left-hand side, on the left photograph, that's David Schmidt. Next to him in the zebra outfit, that is Gina. And then we've got Meredith, the company president, and Steve next to her. Now, Meredith, that what I love about this company is the connection and the community. And it's so
Mm.
heart-based. I've actually met Meredith in person, and she sat down and had a whole long couple of long discussions with me. So nobody's too lowly to actually sit and have a conversation with the president of the company. It's real heart to heart, and they love to answer questions and just help you out, which is amazing. And again, another award that they won. So the things that you really want to consider, what's important to life, is it family time, security, travel, better health, less debt? Well, all of those things are extremely important to me. Next week, I'm taking a week off to go spend a week with my daughter. A friend of mine passed, so I'm going to her funeral. And I can do that now. It's something that I've been always wanting to do. I had a dream of taking my adult children on a road trip back in South Africa, taking them to my favorite places. I did that this year. Okay. And I did that because of Lifewave. Better health, it's helping me immensely with that. And I'm two-thirds through the debt that I inherited. It wasn't my own, but sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. Okay. So, how does it work? There is a compensation plan in Lifewave. There are currently four ways of getting paid, and in a couple of months max, we will be switching to an enhanced compensation plan where we will be earning in 9 different ways based on volume. But at the moment, this is how it's working. So I'm not going to go into this too deeply because it is changing. But basically, what you're going to do is build two teams. There's you sign people up on the left and you sign people up on the right. And if you sign someone up or if someone does any shopping on, people can just, they don't have to be a brand partner. They can just shop from your site. So they can be a customer or preferred customer. And you'll get between $20 and $50 when they place an order there. Um, or if somebody signs up, you get an introductory bonus. So that's a one-off thing. But when you start building teams like this and you get people on your left and people on your right, that's called a binary too. Okay. And every time somebody buys a product, there are points associated with that product, like X39 is 77 points. And when you've got 330 points in your left leg and 660 points in your right leg, you get what is called a cycle bonus. And that is $50. So every time there's 330 on one side, 660 on the other, that's another $50 that goes into your account. And that's how you can actually get to the point where your product starts to pay for itself, which was my first aim, and I achieved that within 3 weeks. And that's just because I got so excited and I started to tell people I was doing this, and then people started seeing the change. The funniest thing is my Australian team built because my wrinkles were disappearing, my skin was changing, and my hair was changing color, which is true. I hadn't noticed that, but my friends in my network marketing group had, and they were just staring at me going, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just sticking this patch on." And they're like, "Where is it? Give it to me." So I've built a whole team on my skin and my hair, which just makes me laugh so much because I use a hairbrush and soap and water. So there you go. So when these cycle bonuses can get capped at up to $25,000 a week. And are there people earning that? Yes, there are. Some of the people on our upline are earning 50,000 a week, but there 25,000 of that comes from the cycle bonuses. So you're going to earn as much as you put in, and that's just how it works. Okay. Once you start cycling and you get people underneath you, so once you're a manager, which is you've got two people on your left and two people on your right, when those people like um say Alan, who I signed up, and Maggie, who I've signed up, if Maggie or Alan get a cycle bonus, they get $50. And because I signed them up and we do a lot of team coaching, the company recognizes that and I get a matching bonus of 25%. So I get paid $12.50 every time somebody in my first level gets $50. Okay. And then Caroline, let's say she was my second sign up, when she gets $50, so she signed up by somebody else, not me, but that's a second level. Every time Caroline gets her $50, I get $10. And then as you go deeper and you start getting enough volume, somebody like Nikki that Caroline signs up, she gets $50. I get another $10 there. And this is not capped. This is where most of the upper level people actually earn their income. So how do you get going? Um, there are multiple ways of doing this. You can simply just buy product and become a preferred a customer with a monthly subscription, but you won't be earning on that one. But you can also just sign up either as $25 an annual fee. There is an annual fee that we pay of $25, which if you think about it, for running a company and having a company, $25 fee a year is extremely low to be able to have that. And that gives you your website, your right to sell all of this, to the support and everything else that we have. So $25 a year is extremely low. So you can simply do that and then just buy a product. And that's one way to go. But you also have these one-off opportunities of buying either Core, Advanced, or Premium. Core is $295, and that includes your $25. So you're already saving there $25. And a sleeve of X39 is normally $99.95, so it's another $5. So Core is going to give you $30 off in total saving for the equivalent of 3 sleeves of X39. You can mix and match, which means you can get an X39, an X49, and 2 sleeves of Aeon or something like that, because 2 of the cheaper sleeves are worth the same value as 1 of the X39. So it is one place where you can mix and match. You can also do advanced. That's where I actually came in. And advanced is the equivalent of 6 sleeves for the price of 535. So you're getting your savings on the sleeves plus your $25 included in that. So it's a big saving. And that's for the equivalent of what should be $625. You're getting it for 535. Okay. Again, you can mix and match there. Or for people that really want to go big and they want a lot of products because they've got businesses or whatnot else and they're going to sell, you can go at premium, which is the equivalent of 20 sleeves. And you're going to get it for 1,750. So that's actually a $275 savings for 20 sleeves, and you can mix and match there as well. You can even start at Core and then the following month go to Advance, or at a later stage upgrade, and you simply pay the difference in price and get this difference in product. Okay. The importance of being on a monthly subscription. If you want to run this as a business, you do need to stay active. Active means ordering at least 1 product a month until you rank higher when it's more than 1. But basically, you stay active by ordering exactly what it is that you need to use yourself, which again is a really cheap way of doing it. You don't have to store a lot of product. I don't actually retail at all. So I don't store product and sell it to other people because my business is online. I simply sign people up and they get their own account, and then I don't have to worry about anything. So 2 important websites for you. This is at info.com. That's all the information about the products, the different sleeves and the different things, the testimonies, the patents, etc. And then for people who actually want to go into this deeper as a business and they want to know all the back end, this is itteam.com. It's a brilliant website. This teaches you how to sign people up, all the different strategies around business, the compensation plan, how it works, all the facts and figures of running this as a business and how to succeed is on that website. So lots of questions and answers and everything there. So the time to make your move. Are you serious about your dream? Do you have hope for your future? Because I do. It's a phenomenal opportunity and a phenomenal product. So thank you very much. I'm just going to